In anticipation of the 75th anniversary of the Little League program, which will take place in 2014, we made a decision some months ago to essentially completely tear apart, redecorate, redesign the interior of the Peter J. McGovern Little League Museum. And we made that announcement several months ago that we were going to do it. I introduced Tim Hughes a little earlier. Tim has been heading up a committee of our board and kind of taking the lead on this project. He put in an incredible amount of time along with Lance Van Auken, working with a design firm out of Boston, and they're making great progress. But the reason I bring it up this morning, or this afternoon, is that we will be closing the museum shortly after the Little League World Series this year, and it will be shut down. And our plan is to reopen the museum, which will become really more of a Little League experience. And I'm going to be very anxious for all of you to see it and to show it off when it's ready for public viewing. But we plan to reopen it on June 6th, or as close to that as we can get, of 2013, which will be 74 years to the date from the first Little League baseball game played, which reminds me, as I look in the back and I see her back there smiling, it's nice to have Karen Stotts-Myers with us today too. Karen, it's nice to have you. Karen, of course, you know, is the daughter of Carl Stotts. So Karen, June 6, 2013 will be a big day. We'll celebrate, again, the founding of Little League Baseball and the reopening of the Peter J. McGovern Little League Museum, and should be something we'll all be very, very proud of. So it's nice to have you with us today, too. In the 2 weeks or so, I think I've mentioned this perhaps at this luncheon before, but because we have folks watching this for the first time, I think it bears repeating. In 2 weeks, we'll have nearly 7,000 teams that will begin the march toward Williamsport. For 16 of those teams, they'll be fortunate enough to spend the last weeks of summer here in South Williamsport. And to put that into a perspective of what it takes to get to that point is those 7,000 teams that will start play in June. They'll play somewhere in the neighborhood of 16,000 to 16,500 games, somewhere in that range, in order to qualify 16 teams for the Little League World Series. It would take Major League Baseball 6 full seasons to play 16,000 games. Now, it doesn't happen without an incredible effort by really millions of people, beginning at the local level. And with many of the people who are watching us today, who are our district administrators around the world, those are the people who really make this possible because they get it started. Those 600 district tournaments will begin, long days, long nights, for those folks who are putting on the district tournaments, and of course the district champions advance on then to sectional, state, regional play, and then ultimately 16 of those teams will come here to Williamsport. And as I said, none of it could happen without the millions of people at the local level in all 50 states and in 80 countries. And the same can be said for the Little League World Series. We couldn't put this event on. Our staff does what it's supposed to do, but we have to have the help of about somewhere around 500 volunteers who help us with the Little League World Series. Many of you are representative of the groups that are here today. The ushers that handle the crowds in the stadiums, the grounds crew, the people who make sure that the fields are in as sparkling a playing condition as they can be. The people who run our concession stands, all the volunteer groups that assist with the concessions. Our medical staff, we have the best medical staff. There can't be an event put on anywhere around, at least around this country, that has the medical staff that we have. And much of that we owe a great debt of gratitude to Steve Johnson. I don't know if Steve was able to join us today or not, but Steve and the folks at Susquehanna Health System donate a considerable amount of services and personnel to us for the Little League World Series to make sure that that the event has appropriate medical care for both players and spectators. It's a great help to us. People that support the game operations, the game directors, the scorers, the people who coordinate all the team activities, and of course, they're probably wondering when I'm going to get to them, our amazing group of team hosts. These are the folks that probably have the most influence on the experience that the kids and their coaches have while they're here. I've told it many times before, when kids who have played in the Little League World Series and they want to have a 10-year reunion or a 20-year reunion, and they want to come back here for that, they don't call us at Little League headquarters. They call Uncle Bob or Uncle Pete, because that's who makes the World Series experience what it is for them. And gentlemen and ladies, Carol, I see you back there, we thank you for, it's a long 2-week period, pretty much 24/7. We really wonder where some of you find the energy for it. But you do a phenomenal job, and you make this World Series the event that we want it to be for all the participants, and it wouldn't be the same without you. So we thank you all for the commitment that you make to help us do that. The Little League program is, we're very fortunate to call Williamsport, South Williamsport, and Lycoming County our home. And we're grateful for the strong support that we receive from this community and our many friends, and many of you are here today. And we're also indebted to the district administrators and their volunteer staffs who make the magic of Little League possible in thousands of communities around the world. Many of them are watching this luncheon for the first time, so I just want them to understand that we send them a big tip of our cap for the great work that they do locally. We also, I think, as I don't think I saw Dan and Bill Erdl come in, but one of our highest priorities for this event each year is to, I suppose we can never completely assure it, but we make every effort to make the event as safe and secure as we can for all the participants and all the spectators. We were certainly challenged with that last year by the wonderful experience of having a team from Clinton County in the Little League World Series. So the law enforcement participation in the Little League World Series is a critical part of it. And Bob Hetner, who's the new chief of police in the borough of South Williamsport, Bob's been a long-time friend of the Little League program, and we're looking forward to coordinating all the law enforcement and security activities with Bob this year. One of the things that we've been fortunate enough for many, many years was to have a lot of services donated to us. But as we all know, in economic times that we're in today, and certainly budgets at the state level and the local level, it's just not possible to have a lot of those services donated to us any further. And we had some of those services we were thinking we'd get this year, which ultimately we're not going to get. So really the burden for providing the expense of all of that has really fallen on us, and appropriately so. It's our event, and we should be responsible for it. But this is where I say we're so blessed to be part of such a great community. We had 2 folks in this community, many of you in the room know them, Dan and Bill Erdl, who stepped forward and met with them last week, and my friend Vince Matteo at the Chamber helped coordinate this, and I thank him for that. But Dan and Bill, through Eureka Resources and R&J Erdl, asked me what those security costs would be. And when I told them, they didn't bat an eye, and they said, we'll cover that cost for you. So I just want to say a big thanks to Dan and Bill Erdl for willingness to support us. So that's probably the best example of why we can say that we're so pleased to call this area home, because we have people who understand what this event and what this program means to this county and this state, and they're willing to step forward and help us. We're very grateful. We look forward to a great World Series. We look forward to a fun summer of activities around here. and we'll look forward to seeing many of you in the room later this August, and to our folks who are watching us on the Little League TV. We'll see many of you along the tournament trail, and look forward to greeting many of you in Williamsport later this summer. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Just a couple of housekeeping